Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow!
The set's getting more and more crowded. No, we're going to have to really do something about... Wait, hold on. Okay. Get the Scrabble board out again. Okay, this is going to be... Let me tell you something. This is like... this is no little ing mess. This is a big ing crazy mess. Okay, boy, we got... wisp of Lil's hair there, and Calico Cat comes down with you every time you shoot. The Calico Cat, now a Calico Stone. Our dear departed Lil. Well, of course, our dear departed Basil, for that matter. But look at this. Now, hold on. You've got the Scrabble board out again, Basil. And Scrabble board says, see Rand Paul. Now, do you expect the tiles on that to magically jump around and make up stuff and come up with hidden meanings behind C. Rand Paul, which I guess is a book. Maybe a book by an updated book by Dr. Seuss. C. Rand Paul. Rand Paul. That's like a Dr. Seuss book, isn't it? Okay. Okay. How long's the camera been running this time, Basil? And here you go. Here's your crib notes for me. Okay. Oh, good evening. Welcome to Basil BuddhaCat Presents a Blessed. Well, we're beyond Easter now, but every day is a blessed day. So, blessed Friday to you, and it's Good Friday after Good Friday, and while we were concentrating on the Holy Week, we had a guy named Rand Paul decide to run for president. Now Basil had Ron Paul on the show back in January of 2012. So we didn't get into doing this show until January of 2012, and Dr. Ron Paul was one of our first guests, along with Michelle Bachmann, and you have to look back and see all those shows. Michelle Bachmann, Newt Gingrich, Rick Perry, Sarah Palin, who wasn't a candidate but still managed to crash the show to talk about something or other insane. So here we go. So I'm catching up on the fly with what Basil wants to do. And first of all, Basil, who's not apt to do this very often, Basil wants to say something really good about Rand Paul, presidential candidate Rand Paul, because we watched the speech. You'll have to watch it if you want to. It's on cspan.org. We watched it actually cspan.org. We watched it on the cable at a friend's house. It's on like 2-3 o'clock in the morning if you want to watch it. If you want to watch it on the television, but if you've got if you've got Hulu and Netflix and the other stuff like we have in place of cable television, you could watch it anytime. You can watch anything on YouTube anytime, and it doesn't cost. It's like a startup fee to get going, and then you've got everything pretty much. Your shows are a few days or a week late. Actually, we watched The Daily Show and Larry Wilmore a day after. We watch most every show a day after they're actually televised for the first time. They're on Netflix. So we're watching this speech, and Basil says that he wants to say something really, really good about Dr. Rand Paul from Kentucky, senator from Kentucky, first-term senator who's now running for president. Had his announcement on television. Seemed a lot less canned than the announcement by that other dude, Ted Cruz. Of course, actually, when Ted Cruz announced at Liberty University, there were a bunch of people in the audience, a bunch of kids in the audience who were there because they had to be, because they get fined $10 if they don't come to the weekly convocation. So a lot of them showed up, not necessarily to support Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz running for president, but because they didn't want to pay the $10. And a lot of them showed up wearing T-shirts that said, "I'm with Rand." So there we are at watching the Ted Cruz announcement, and there's a bunch of kids in the audience wearing Rand Paul T-shirts, and I guess that's okay. But so we're watching it the other night, and Basil wants to say something very, very complimentary about Dr. Rand Paul, and he's going to try to keep it brief, but Basil, he'll go on for a long time about it. I'll quote him first, and we'll know if it's a short quote, then we know it's a long comment. If it's a long comment, we'll know it's a short quote, because cat language kind of works that way. Okay, you ready? Okay, Basil said, "Meow." Okay, that means it's going to be fairly lengthy. Said he's 100% with Dr. Rand Paul on his remarks about the NSA, the National Security Agency. He's very glad that Dr. Paul in his speech borrowed from the liberal line about the National Security Agency. He's with us on this one. We're with him on this one because as you know, libertarians and liberals have a lot in common. And this is one of the things that they share very much in common. They share the notion also that that marijuana needs to be at the very least decriminalized, because our prisons are filled with kids that are there for no other reason other than possession of marijuana. So what Basil really keyed in on, and he wants to again compliment Dr. Paul about, is this notion about the NSA being a bad thing. Libertarians very much in favor of ending the national security. At least not the National Security Agency has been in place for decades. That's old stuff. But the Patriot Act gave the National Security Agency the ability to listen in on pretty much everything we say. They've been doing it since the Patriot Act was passed in 2001, right after 9/11, and contrary to what a lot of people that support Dr. Rand Paul seem to think, it's not a device that was dreamed up by President Obama. It was a device that was dreamed up by the Bush administration. So, having said that, Basil says the NSA, very bad, not happy with it, and the Patriot Act, he wants it ended. Basil wants it ended. Dr. Rand Paul appears also. He said on his first day he would do anything in his power as the executive. I guess he would use an executive order, which those things that every president does, but conservatives only seem to want to recall that one president, Barack Obama, has done. But every president does them. He says on his first day in office, the first thing he'll do is he'll end the warrantless wiretapping. He'll work toward stopping all these drones watching people and spying on people. He'll stop the spying. He says the Fourth Amendment and the First Amendment are very clear that that spying on Americans is not a good thing. It's a very bad thing. And there you go. There you go. Complete agreement. Says Dr. Rand Paul, may not agree with a lot of stuff with you on, but that's one thing we very much agree with you on. Now, having said that, we're going to go back to what Basil likes to do more often than not. And he's got this book that's been authored, and we don't know who authored it yet. We think it's a protege of Dr. Seuss, Ted Geisel. And the book is called C. Rand Paul. And funny thing is, a lot of titles have secret messages in them. And, okay. Silencer's on, so we're, okay. Okay. Okay, it's actually a call-in. And, Tweety, Snarky, Tweety, can you see if it's coming from, the bluegrass state of Kentucky? Not to be confused with, and sending kids to prison for browngrass, Kentucky. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay. It's, are you going to elevate Dr. Paul to middle-sized phone? No. Basil says, I said what I was going to say. I'm 100% with him on that issue and on the issue of ending decriminalizing marijuana, but that's enough. Okay, so thank you for calling Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Is this, in fact... Yeah, Basil, it is. It's Kentucky Senator Dr. Rand Paul calling up. He's thanking you for your very kind words, and says it's not liberals that believe in that stuff anyway, because liberals can't be that way. It's his idea. But thanks anyway for the compliment. Now, can you end the show? Basil is very discreetly raising his middle claw to you and saying, Dr. Paul, no. We're not going to end the show. We've got another 15 minutes of show tonight and then a Sunday morning show. So we're going to go on and talk about this book. But you want us to, I was going to say, you want us to leave the line open. And apparently he hung up. So, okay. So again, C. Rand Paul, the name of the book. And Basil noticed a couple things about it. And he's going to call this Rand Paul versus Rand Paul. And one of the things that was contained in the speech was, and funnily enough, crazily enough, interestingly enough, the letters are right there in C. Rand Paul. Okay, he sees, if you rearrange the letters, and we'll put it up on the screen for you guys because, oh my God, it changed. It is on the board. It's not a Scrabble board, it's a Ouija board. Okay, so contained in C. Rand Paul are Dr. Dr. period, Dr. E. Please. And he's a doctor. He's a dentist. He has been recently, within the last year, he's been to South America. He was down there providing dental care free of charge for poor people in Central America, and that's part of, again, part of what Basil likes about him. He's a good guy in that respect. You know, he does good things, and you like our friend Marty Heiser. Hey, Marty. Oh, he's up in the hammock. And be careful up there, Marty, because we've got the hammock up there in the audience. We've got the audience out there. But up in the hammock, we've got, we normally have Dr. Stephen T. Colbert. We normally have Craig Ferguson, and we normally have Drew Carey, who took over briefly for Craig Ferguson when he left the Late Late Show. And Drew Carey kind of bombed out. He became known as LFFF. And we can't see on television what LFFF stands for, but you'll just have to use your imagination on that one. So Basil says, there you go, Dr. E, please, E-please. Electronic. He's very up to date on technology, so there's a lot of E stuff. Matter of fact, on his website, he's got a bunch of different groups, some of which probably made up for Rand. He's got old white guys for Rand, of course. He's got Kentuckians for Rand. He's got Virginians for Rand. He's got a bunch of different groups of people. He's got Floridians for Rand. He's got Texans for Rand, which, of course, he likes to mention whenever he runs into Ted Cruz. And he likes to mention the Floridians for Rand every time he runs into that other dude, that other Bush guy, who seems to have taken his seat at the right hand of the Democratic Party candidate Hillary Clinton as the two that would call themselves, all right, close the door, primaries not necessary, we're the candidates. It's Jeb Bush versus Hillary Clinton, bring on 2016. But, okay, so Dr. E please. Okay. Well, unfortunately, on one of the groups that has been started up, a group for Rand, is it started off as Jew for Rand, and that's probably because he only found one Jewish person that was in favor of him. But you start with one and you work from there. So then he went to Jews for Rand, because apparently there are at least two Jewish Americans that are behind Rand Paul and want to tout him as the candidate for the Republican Party. Not the dude from Florida, not the dude from Texas. But we found, there it is. Okay. Magically and mysteriously, biblically, if you will, C. Rand Paul, the letters rearranged into E-pander Saul, and of course electronically it's computer, so it's E-. So we're getting the truth of the matter about Jews for Rand. He's been accused of, by his own letters and his own story, C. Rand Paul, that he's Mr. E-pander Saul. He's pandering to Jewish voters to try to get, we're back down to Jew for Jesus. Oh well. Hey, the spot disappeared. Hey, it's back up. There's Jew for Jesus again. Okay. It's back up to Jews for Jesus. You know, maybe by the end of the show we'll have 3 Jewish Americans supporting Rand Paul, and it'll be Jews for Rand, and it'll be, who knows. Maybe we'll get to 3, maybe we'll get to 4. So, E-pander Saul is apparently the truth of the matter. He's pandering to some guy named Saul. Is it the guy that has a TV show that we watch occasionally? Better Call Saul? Or Just Call Saul? Maybe. Hey! Wait a second. You didn't tell me about, you did not tell me about this. Basil in front of him has a sign. It looks like a very official sign. It's appears to be relative to the State of Connecticut Department of Environmental Protection. That's pretty official looking. Voss Signs LLC, Minlius, New York, 11304-0553, 9-digit zip code, so it's recent. It's got a telephone number. And the sign says, "This area open to bow hunting only. Permit required. Firearms prohibited." Okay. Okay, and it gives it an 800 number to report wildlife violations. I'm going to put it back down there, Basil. I don't know where you got this, but, okay. You know, we're trying to do a show and, okay. Basil says, well, this is not C-SPAN. This is not public television. This is not free. Costs money to put these shows out there. Costs salaries. Tweety, is he paying you? Snarky? Basil, who's getting paid? Tweety's not getting paid. Snarky's not getting paid. The boys up in the hammock aren't getting paid. I'm not getting paid. Basil said, "I support all you goons, so I get all the pay. And besides, I'm the host of the show." Oh, I didn't say it in cat first. Okay. Basil says, says, he's the star of the show. He writes the ticket. Do the commercials. Okay. Well, let's start with effervescence. We're still working on that one, aren't we? We're still working on the. We're still working on Budweiser. Okay. But we don't have the horse yet. Okay. We're still working on getting the Budweiser account, apparently. And Basil thinks we're going to get it. The NFL is not going to have it going into next season, as far as Basil's trying to confirm. So Budweiser is going to be ours, and just like with Schweppes, Schweppervescence, same way of proof, same criteria for proving that Basil's the only place in town that's got the account for Budweiser. How do you know that Basil's favorite beer is Budweiser? Look in his cat pan. Look in the litter pan, because Schweppervescence and Budweiser, it's clumping litter. So there you go. Okay. Do other cats have anything to add? Wouldn't it behave? Look at that. Look at that little guy. Look how behaved he is. And sweet flower on the other Basil. So, we've got... Okay. Coming up soon. Matter of fact, we just passed the Cinco de Abril. Coming up next, pretty soon, Cinco de Mayo. And they're all flocking with their margaritas to Basil BuddhaCat Presents. And they're all saying, "What the?" Okay. Piggy wants to get into the act. What the? Okay. That enough advertising for one show? And we've got a lot to cover here. The board has morphed again. Oh my goodness. Okay. We've got to do one more thing. We've got to do P-A-N-W root beer. It's that extra letter that adds the zing. The sparkles with the Schweppes, but the zing is with P-A-N-W root beer. And it's that extra letter that really makes it happen. Okay, and, well, here's a... Did somebody finally eat this thing? I hope not.
No.
They didn't?
No.
Okay. Okay. You threw it out?
No.
Okay, good. Good. So, producer of the show, Kristen Schoenfeld, off in the distance. While we look for that other product that we've been advertising all along, we'll get in our word for 15 ball and jumbo size 15 ball, 12 ball. Costco jumbo size 15 ball. And it might not seem proper that the 15 is the smaller and the 12 is the larger, but, you know, funny things happen on television. Okay. Lil. Calico Cat. Now the Calico Stone. So, Basil, can I move along? Because I've got... No, he says I got to get... Oh, look! Look what we found. Tootsie Roll. And how do we know the Tootsie Roll is Basil's candy of choice? Well, right alongside the dribble of the Schweppes, right alongside the P&W root beer, right alongside the that familiar yellow Budweiser beer, freshly brewed and dispensed right through the Clydesdale that's going to be coming along pretty soon to join us. Right there in the litter box, Tootsie Roll, Basil's candy of choice. Okay. Basil, can we get back to the show? Basil says we're going to have to wait. I'll tell you, these... Again, C. Rand Paul is the book, and we're learning some new things. But we're going to have to continue on a show tomorrow. This has been Basil BuddhaCat Presents. I'm David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter and chief gopher, and interpreting one more response from Basil, which is... said, see you Sunday morning. Good night.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Fritter her away, her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, on Wall Street. Meow.